Okay, you're all set.
Morning, everybody. It's 10:07 a.m. on March 18th, 2025. This is a regular meeting of the Kentucky State Board of Elections. I'm Michael Adams, the Secretary of State and Chair of the Board. I'll call us to order and I'll recognize each member in attendance as I see you on the big screen here. Member Owens.
Here.
Member Ferris.
Eric Ferris, member Jefferson County here.
Member Perry.
Sue Carol Perry, member Shelby County.
Member Skolnick.
Corey Skolnick, member Jefferson County.
Member Johnson.
Jerry Johnson, member Franklin County.
Member Brangers.
Deanna Brangers, member Jefferson County.
Welcome, everybody. We have a quorum and we'll proceed to our business. First, approve draft minutes from our last meeting on February 18th. Do we have a motion for that?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion, any changes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Next, ratification of County Board of Elections replacement. We have a need to approve a new Republican member in Fleming County. And we went through the usual process, and David Donovan is at the top of that list. Anything else on that, Karen?
I'll just add that the Republican member there did pass away in January. And so that was the need for them to meet and appoint someone to complete out this term.
Okay. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Ayes have it. Next, acceptance of executive director's time. Did everyone get that over the last day or two? Any questions? We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, we have Rachel Pointer with our financial report for February. Rachel.
Good morning. The sun is shining and I will be quick. Nothing in the regular finances was standing out, so I'll be happy to answer any of the questions on the February financial report if you have them. And then I have a few updates of just some goings on about finances. So does anyone have any questions about the financial statement included this month? Okay. Well, so we have been talking about for the past couple of months the Homeland Security Grant Program. We signed a memorandum of understanding with Franklin County, and I just wanted to let everybody know that there is a pause on those. Those federal funds have been frozen. We are waiting. We expect that they will be unfrozen soon, but I don't have a time frame on what soon means at this point. So I'm working closely with Homeland Security to make sure that as soon as those funds are unfrozen and available, we can go ahead and purchase the plum cases that we had talked about purchasing. In the meantime, I'm going ahead and doing the procurement, getting the quotes, and filing for a sole source vendor designation. So we will just be, hopefully we can have all of that complete and just ready to purchase as soon as these funds are available. The only other thing is that we're working on biennial budget requests right now. And so we have started that process to get it completed in the next couple of months. Does anybody have any questions for me? Other than that, that's all I've got this month.
Okay, can we get a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Ayes have it. Moving right along, next we have report from our executive director.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will try to be brief myself. One of the big pieces of news is that the continuous improvement election legislation that was introduced by Representative Decker in a collaboration with the Secretary of State's office, KCCA, State Board of Elections, and other legislators besides Representative Decker was passed in the House, passed unanimously in the Senate, and has been delivered to the governor. I didn't think to look today to see if it had been signed.
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay, good, thank you. I meant to look earlier. But, you know, I could go through, you know, maybe a few of the changes that made some difference maybe. One of the things that was important, that the 6-day excused in-person voting would allow for a caregiver to also vote that day should they be bringing someone in to vote. I think that was, you know, a needed improvement to that. One other important piece is where in the legislation it said a second ballot now just says issue a ballot, an absentee ballot, which allows the clerk to pass the ballot across in their office as opposed to always putting it in the mail in case it should happen that it's closer to the election, and make sure that voter has an opportunity to get that ballot without it having to go back through the USPS process again. As we all know, that was some problematic in the last election. There was some language about write-ins that was clarified. There was campaign filing clarifications that the secretary needed to have done. Because of the hand-to-eye recount, certification was moved. The Secretary of State's office now can receive the certification from the county clerks the Tuesday after the election by 4 o'clock instead of at noon on Friday. That after the election, that gives the clerks a few more days to do the hand-to-eye audit that, and we all agreed this is going to be good for everyone. Voter assistance form was done a little bit differently, but still is in place. But if you can think of anything else you'd like to share in particular, we did, there is language regarding the school calendar that if the County Board of Elections wants to use schools in the following election, they have to make that request by December 1st of the year before the election to make sure for the school calendar. And I believe that kind of is the highlights. If there's anything you can think of to add.
Also, they stopped trying to repeal early voting, so we have that going for us.
Yeah.
It's a good session.
Exactly. So it was a good session. There was one other bill that I'll mention that passed was, I believe it was House Bill 455, which we have always all worked very closely with the Attorney General's office on election integrity, voter fraud, et cetera. But they actually designated a name for that. And I don't remember exactly what the name was, but it was the Election Integrity Task Force. Do you remember exactly? But
It's just a unit within the AG's office.
right.
It's not the separate thing that we have with
Right.
them and KSP and others. Yeah.
right, it's just they designated that unit in with there. But again, we've all worked very closely with them through elections and will continue. So that's with that. Update about list maintenance. We've now
Aaron,
pardon. Yes.
I'm sorry. Is it okay? Yeah, before you leave the bill completely, I just have a couple of quick questions.
Sure.
And believe me, I know that I'm unfamiliar with a lot of this, but there was a provision that audits be destroyed after 60 days. And I wondered what that was about.
That was actually the video surveillance, the 60 days where the 60 continuous days of video surveillance after the election. It would not be destroyed if there was any litigation or any open record requests that would put them past the 60-day deadline. But that's video surveillance. That's video surveillance only.
Okay, thank you for that. And the other one, I think I know the answer to, but not providing candidates addresses, but only their district numbers. I take it that that's a protection provision from people knowing their address.
Yeah, the idea here is to not go out of our way to publicly advertise people's home addresses, given security concerns.
Okay, well, I
So
assume that.
those addresses are a matter of public record. They have to be in order for there to be an option for bona fide challenges. Someone wants to challenge whether someone lives in the district, things like that. So that information is available. It doesn't have to be on the internet necessarily for the general public.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, and I've got a couple of questions too. Was there any specific change in the hand-to-eye audit, or is the basic process the same?
The process is the same. They actually just changed the word to audit as opposed to recount. I believe that was the only, they just changed that word, but it's still the same process.
Okay.
It's still done before certification.
One thing that caught my attention, and I don't remember now if it was already there, if it changed somewhat, was the list of write-in voters, with the provision that that you have to be filed by a certain time and give notice that you're going to run. There was a piece that I read in it, and again, I can't remember if it was already there, if it got tweaked, was that the list are not to be hung up, if you will, within the precinct. But you could ask for it and they would make it available. And can somebody tell me what the logic is behind that?
I may let Richard speak to that, but it's actually was already done that way. Correct, Richard?
Yes, for as long as I can remember, the list was not to be published. There was always concern that they would post it in the polling place, and that would be a form of campaigning for a write-in candidate that wasn't issued on a ballot. So the requirement is if somebody asked for a list of certified write-ins, that they were shown that list, and that's how but they didn't post it in the polling place. That's been in place for a long time.
Okay, I guess it changed over the years when, there was the requirement. I'm old enough to where you could do a write-in and I could write in call immediately and that was a vote he got. He didn't have to be already signed up for it. So I guess that looks like a disadvantage somewhat, to suggest that having a list is somehow your polling is, there's candidates all up and down the list of your voting screen. So I didn't know if that was something new or something that had been tweaked. Was there any real discussion around the use of schools that came up, or opposition to the use of schools, other than the clarification that you had to give notice by December 1?
As I recall, that was pretty much the discussion, just providing a date where they would be required to go to the school system, rather than just say closer to the election, I've decided I want to use it. They have reached a deadline to be able to have that on the school calendar in preparation for the following school year. So by December 1st, that would be for the school calendar for the following July, August through the next year.
I know superintendents were hoping to try to limit that to at least the general election and not have it apply in primaries and everything too, to be less disruptive. But that didn't occur. They did clarify that it looks like we don't have to close. That was clarified, that it's not a full district closure, but I don't know, just from someone working with schools, I know that does, Jerry, it does still pose a problem, even trying to conduct school when you got the public in another part of the building.
Yeah.
On one campus. So.
And finally, one final question is, was there anything included in the bill that we had concerns about?
No, not from State Board of Elections. I'll let Secretary speak to them, and Kevin, feel free to speak up as well on behalf of KCCA. Did
No.
you?
No, we're very happy with it. No,
Mhm.
no objections.
All right, sorry for so many questions. I wasn't as up to speed on the bill this time as we normally are, so I apologize for that.
Not at all.
Kevin, you want to?
Member
ahead and-
Owens?
Yeah,
Councilor-
a very
Yeah.
quick question. Following up on Jerry's, I mean, this is obviously important stuff that a lot of the public is interested in the debate and the committee and so forth. Were concerns raised by others?
I was at each committee. I don't recall any real debate on any. There were questions, but no real debate. Taylor?
This is a pretty light touch. Nothing
Mhm.
controversial in here, just tweaking deadlines and clarifying language, and that's about it.
It was, I thought it was well received by the.
To your point, it went through the Senate unanimously. Not much
Mhm.
does that, right? So,
Right.
yeah, there's consensus.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
thank you.
But I'll move on, and then Kevin, in your report, you might wanna, you could either now or say what. the
I'll
basic-
say this, I mean, it went through well. I think that everybody, what they wanted, they were able to get that, and the clerks were very satisfied. So it was certainly a collaborative effort by a lot of different people, but, you know, it went just as we had hoped. So it's something we'd wanted to see for a while.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
I want to just mention that in the last week, we have signed an MOU with the state of Texas for list maintenance, which is important. There are some Kentuckians moving to Texas back and forth. So we were pleased to get that executed last week, and on the move to work with some other states as well that I've mentioned before. I did want to say that as chair of the Rules and Administration Committee, Senator McConnell is that chair and makes appointments to the Board of Advisors for the Election Assistance Commission. And he has appointed Deanna Brangers and myself to serve on the 35-member Board of Advisors. This is a board that's created by HAVA, and of course that's, you know, something you hear us say all the time. And we're just a group to help and designate and assist the EAC carry out their duties under the law. So looking forward to our first meeting coming up.
Yeah, I had to.
Julie's coming on.
Are y'all hearing me?
Yep. Yes.
Great, I'll mute. I'm on the phone with Keith. All right. Thanks, Keith.
Well, congratulations to the two of you. We're very well represented by both, so.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention that. And then you all should have all received the final survey, Eve's survey, ready for submission. They have no changes or no requests. Taylor worked really hard on that with our IT people to get that completed. And Secretary Adams will be the one that signs the certification, and he will probably, hopefully do that today.
Yeah, the.
I think Taylor.
Jessica has to-
Jessica has
okay.
it.
No, I'll go there. Yeah.
But that is my report.
Any questions or comments for Karen? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Kevin Alexander with the KCCA. Welcome, Kevin.
Good morning. We had our regular monthly meeting earlier this month in Frankfurt, actually, at the Transportation Cabinet. We had a good meeting and Taylor spoke. We had Keith was there, Richard was there, Karen was there, and Taylor. Just a regular monthly meeting. Of course, it's an off year. It was just, there was I think we talked maybe 45 minutes or so, but just basically informative stuff. And of course, the focus has been on this House bill that we just discussed. And fortunately, as we said, we were glad to see that have passage and everything. Hopefully the governor signs off on it. So that's really all I've got to report, Secretary Adams.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Kevin? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So next on here, we have closed session. I'm going to jump to 9 as I usually do so that we can go into closed session and come out and just adjourn. Do we have any other business before the board today?
No, sir.
Okay. So I understand we don't need to discuss any security matters, just any litigation. And then when we come out of that, all that we'll have left is just to confirm our next meeting and then adjourn. Can I get a motion to go into closed session to discuss pending litigation?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.